Nancy clutched the worn folded flag to her chest, its starchy texture a poor substitute for the warmth of her son. Tears welled, blurring the polished surface of the headstone. Sergeant Michael Harris, a name etched in granite, a life stolen too soon. 6 months. 6 agonizing months since the arrival of the official letter. The condolences, the carefully folded flag. 6 months of sleepless nights haunted by the image of Michael in his uniform, his smile bright against the backdrop of a distant war. He was just a boy. Her boy. The grief was a physical ache, a lead weight settling in her stomach, threatening to consume her. Friends offered condolences, whispered platitudes about healing and time, but Nancy found no solace. A mother knows, deep in her soul, when her child is gone. But this felt different. There was an emptiness in her grief, a void where certainty should have resided. It whispered to her in the stillness of the night, urging her to seek, to question, to uncover the truth. And tonight, under the pale gaze of the moon, she would. Tonight, she would dig. The cemetery air hung heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and morning lilies. Nancy shivered, pulling her thin jacket tighter against the night chill. The rhythmic chirping of crickets provided an eerie soundtrack to her grim task. The shovel, purchased with a mix of shame and desperate hope, felt alien in her hands. Blisters formed quickly, but she pushed on. Each clod of earth removed a testament to her unwavering maternal love. Her heart pounded against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat urging her forward. Time lost all meaning as she worked, the physical exertion a welcome distraction from the turmoil within. The moon, a silent witness to her clandestine act, cast long dancing shadows across the freshly turned earth. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the shovel struck wood with a dull thud. Nancy dropped the shovel, her trembling fingers finding purchase on the edge of the rough-hewn coffin. Her breath caught in her throat, a mixture of fear and anticipation constricting her chest. This was it, the moment of truth. Michael had always been her miracle baby. When he announced his decision to enlist, fear washed over her, but Michael remained resolute. The day he left, Nancy felt a piece of her heart break away. Then, the official notification arrived, informing her of her son's demise. But something about it never sat right with Nancy. It was this doubt that had led her here, to this moonlit graveyard. With a final surge of adrenaline, Nancy pushed the heavy coffin lid open. The musty odor of damp wood wafted out, but it was the sight that greeted her that stole her breath away. The coffin was empty. Panic surged through her, cold and swift. Had she been wrong? Was this some cruel trick, a figment of her grief-stricken mind? Then her gaze fell on a small white envelope nestled in the satin lining where her son's head should have been. Trembling, she picked it up, recognizing the familiar, slightly messy scrawl on the front. Her Michael. Tears streamed down her face as she tore open the envelope, her heart pounding against her ribs. The letter was short, penned in haste. It spoke of a mission gone wrong, of capture, of a desperate escape. He was alive, but in hiding. He couldn't tell her where, not yet. But he was safe, and he would find his way back to her. He promised. 1 year later, the knock on the door came as the sun began its slow descent. Nancy, her heart skipping a beat, rushed to answer it. Standing on her porch was a figure she thought she'd never see again. Michael. A little thinner, a little more weary, but undeniably him. The reunion was a blur of tears, laughter, and whispered reassurances. Nancy looked at her son, her heart overflowing. Her Michael was home. He was safe.